and welcome to the last of my Some P&P. In this series, we have been going through a whole bunch of stuff, and we are going to end up with a game that actually doesn't exist. This you can't find this. It's not. It's not there, and yet you can see all the stuff that is there. This is how someone has thought of it, at least. We are looking at a concept, I would say. It doesn't exist as such, but it is a concept, a game concept. And it's awesome. It's totally awesome, and I haven't understood half of it. Let me put it that way. It's called The Overwhelmingly Spectacular Gates of Atlantis, a solitaire logic puzzle board game thingy. And I think he got this idea back in 2018. I found it 2022, and the guy I'm talking about is actually our old friend Scott Slomiani. If you can remember him, we started with him. Pocket Civilization, Pocket Civ. He was the guy behind that one, and he's also the guy behind this one. However, there is a couple of things that makes this probably not finished as such. I can tell you directly, I have 24 pages of chapters, but page 17 and page 24 is empty. That's one thing. And on the last page, 23 in my case, there are things missing on the map. And the absolute last thing that I would say is evidence is that he has redrawn the files, the PDF file, with all these things from the internet. It's nowhere there. It's nowhere to be found. You can't find it even close by Scott Slomiani's own CV. So it's not there. And yet I say this is really worth showing up. So what is it? Well, it is a concept. I mean, well, if you have seen, and I guess most of you have you seen Indiana Jones movies? We get to see Indiana Jones throwing himself into the place, avoiding traps, getting hurt, getting a run for his money, and all that. We have seen all that. But we never see him get the research done before he gets to that place. And this game that I call Gates of Atlantis is actually the research. This is the research. Where might you find the Gates of Atlantis in the Mediterranean Sea? Now, for my thing, I thought Atlantis actually was in the Atlantic, because it feels like more properly buried. And there are several that is saying that too. But just for fun, let's say that it might be in the Black Sea or in the Mediterranean Sea. You don't know. One of these squares might actually have the Gates of Atlantis. And once you have found the Gates of Atlantis, you are won. That's the concept of it. And all this stuff, then, you might say. Well, we have actually a normal set of cards. They are used for moving across these spaces. So if you want to go from Barcelona to Granada, you have to have at least 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. And you see there's a heart there. That means that is something special. I haven't put myself into it. The most important thing of all is, of course, Grandpa's father clock. Now, mine is actually not set properly. As you probably can see, I'm almost covering the 5s. I should have it up there a bit, like that. Now, let's say that you get a time. Sometimes you get a time on this. Wherever you get it, you get a time. I'm not totally sure where you get it. It's on these ones somewhere. And let's say that you get a time called 6:25. We should have some sort of piece. Let's use a die. Let's say that we'll take the thing that he has here, E6, just outside of Tunis. We say that E6 is where it is. And we get a time, 6:25. Then you put 25, that's 5. And then you use a tablet. And you put the 6. And you look into the holes. In this case, we actually get red X's. And as soon as you get one red X, you lost the game. That's it. Now, that's not very nice. That's what he starts chapter 1 with. Let's say, however, that he gave us the right time. In this case, 11:45, a quarter to 12. Now there are holes somewhere else. Now since we are now using 11, instead we have to go up here. Now the die is actually in my way. I'll move that. And then we put the 11, since 11 is the one that we want. And then we have the 9. And now that when we look, and this for grandpa clock is not the correct one, we see E6. And E6 was exactly where we were. That means we have found the gates of Atlantis. That's chapter 1. There's 6 chapters. And there's so much stuff that is going on here. The caves are used together with Da Vinci's notes. You put stuff in a special order. You can go through a city, and then you have 3 of these marked in a special order. And then you have, if you're going left, straight, or right. And if you end up at a number, that number is how many steps from this city you can find a cave. And then you check it with your grandpa clock. And then you can use these on the culture maps. And then you use these ones as well, by the way, of course, yes. As you can see, he has been really busy getting into the groove of getting the research done. The thing is, as far as I can see and understand, is that if you're going to play this, let's see if I can find chapter 6, this chapter 5b. No, this one. What can you learn from the twisty streets? Yes, here we have 7. Yes. Now this is how you get it done. He gives you a lot of information, like chapter 7a, the mystery cave 1. Use the tablet of the Vikings. Okay, we'll get that. Here we have the Incans. Here we have the Vikings. There are only 3 of these at the moment. And as you can see, we are using this together with this. So it's important. And then we use culture map number 3, and I think there's 4 of these. Or is it only 3? It's only 3. Okay. So we have culture map number 3. Place your pawn in, and here he has not tell us where we should start our place. We don't know. We do know that we are going to Barcelona, Constanta and Tunis in order to get ourselves some information. And then we have cave tables. There are so much stuff. And then we have pirates, actually. And this one is starting at A5. I think she is a 6. Now she's going to move 1 per turn, closing in on you, wherever you are. And then you should also have some sort of roadblock dice, up to 4 of them. There is 1 cave hidden on this map. When you find it, you can use the cave table below at the dig site. So, what you're supposed to be doing is you're going to, let's say, Barcelona. It's over here. Then I'm going to use these city street things, and bottom is, let's see, it's, no, this one is the middle, that's the bottom, that's the middle. You should have these ones together, and there's that one. Now you get all this information, and then you just put them down together like this, and you get a road map. Yes, it's blue sometimes, and sometimes it's not. And you start from this one, you go straight in the first, you go straight in the next one, you go straight in this one, you go right in this one, yes, and then you go right again, and then you go right again, and then you go straight, and you come up to number 5. Now that should mean that I have 5 steps from Barcelona. 1, 2, 3, well, it may be wherever, and I use some of these markers to mark where it might be. I can also use, well, there are so much stuff you could do. And then you can use, let's see, which one is easiest? Compass and the culture table. Okay, it should be this one. Come on. Let's say we take Athens here. Should be the yellow one, right? Yes. And then you take from this point first because it has a name. It's from this one. No, it's not. It's from this one. Then I'll try to get to a point where I collide with something, and it has to be this one, I guess. And then you take the sword, it's the long one, and then you put it like this. And why? Because that makes full circle. And then you get to this point and it says northeast from Athens. Okay, northeast from Athens. There's Athens. Northeast. Yes. It should be up here somewhere. There could be a cave up here somewhere. I think that's what you get. I'm not sure. Because I haven't been able to pinpoint everything. When I realized that it was not finished and it was missing some pieces, I was a bit sad. But on the other hand, I thought, well, this is so awesome that perhaps I can do something with it. Perhaps I can, I don't know. If I learn everything and I just make sure that, let's say that I decide on here you should start and this is what you're going to use and all that. Perhaps I could do something then get to a point. Because when you're finished, let's say that you get a time. I'm not sure where you get the time from. The Vikings, please. There. Let's say that you get a time. Let's say that we use what we have and the 11 just for fun. We are not going to get anything, right? No, we are not going to get anything. Those ones should be covered, I guess. So that's not good. It's going to be guesswork. Let's say we have 2:15. 2:15, just for fun. I'm just guessing. I get a red cross. Okay, I lose. So it, and you also see cave here. If it says cave in one of them, then you probably you found a cave. But which one? We don't know. And so on and so forth. So I was hoping that if I could just sit with this and perhaps get it on, I might get something. Or perhaps I should just show the public what Mr. Slomiani has been thinking, and perhaps we can push him to continue getting some help from people who is just as good as him on making these types, because I would love to do the research behind Indiana Jones. Absolutely. That would be awesome. The ideas are perfect. The thinking is perfect. Everything here is perfect. Just using an old card deck. And believe me, that is your, any queen you draw is actually your enemy, because you have an arch enemy, of course. Now these are just help, so you might get some help if you draw a king or a jack. I mean, he has been thinking. If you're down here, heart is a good thing. There's spades, diamonds, and so on. I totally love this one. It is a very good setup, at least. But we don't know what his ideas were or what is going to happen. Anyhow, this was the overwhelmingly spectacular gates of Atlantis, and I can only hope that he continues to work on it. If he not, well, I have seen it, you have now seen it as well, and this is some of the things that you might find among all print and play games. Thank you for watching this and watching all the rest of my things in the series. This was the last one. And take care. Goodbye.